It was a cold morning in Halifax, Nova Scotia. The harbour lay shrouded in a mist that blurred the edges of the docks and ships, giving the city an eerie, dreamlike quality. People were beginning their day, unaware that within a few hours the entire city would be transformed forever. The year was 1917, and the world was consumed by war. Yet Halifax, a busy port city, held its own quiet routine. Fishermen checked their nets, children ran through the streets chasing one another, and the fog rolled lazily over the harbour waters. Amid this calm, two ships approached the busy harbour entrance. One was the Mont Blanc, a French cargo ship carrying a highly volatile load of explosives. The other was the Imo, a Norwegian vessel heading out after unloading its goods. Neither ship could predict that a minor navigational error would soon lead to the largest man-made explosion the world had ever seen before nuclear weapons. The collision seemed almost trivial at first, a scrape and a jolt in the misty harbour. Crew members exchanged startled glances, shouting commands over the cold, foggy air. The Mont Blanc, unaware of the true danger it carried, continued to list slightly to one side. Smoke began to rise from its deck as the fire broke out, a warning that most did not understand. Panic spread quickly. People on the shore saw the smoke and began to flee, while sailors tried desperately to contain the fire that threatened the ship's deadly cargo. At precisely 9:04 a.m, the explosion occurred. A massive, blinding flash engulfed the harbour. The force of the blast shattered windows for miles, levelling entire neighbourhoods. Trees were uprooted, streets were torn apart, and a massive wave surged through the harbour, sweeping boats and debris inland. People were hurled through the air as if caught in the hands of an invisible giant. The sound of the explosion travelled across the water, reaching communities tens of kilometres away, leaving an echo that would haunt survivors for decades. In the aftermath, Halifax was unrecognisable. A thick cloud of smoke and dust hung over the city like a pall, muting the sounds of cries and chaos. Hospitals, barely prepared for the injuries, were overwhelmed as the wounded arrived in droves. Families searched desperately for loved ones, only to discover that many were lost, some buried beneath the rubble, others forever missing. Among the survivors, grief mixed with disbelief. How could a city, so alive just moments ago, be reduced to ruins in an instant? The human cost was staggering. Nearly 2,000 people lost their lives, and over 9,000 were injured. Thousands more were left homeless, their lives uprooted in a single catastrophic moment. Homes, businesses, schools and churches lay in ruins. Halifax's industrial heart, the harbour, had been destroyed, and the city faced a long, painful recovery. Yet amid the devastation, stories of courage and resilience emerged. Ordinary citizens risked their lives to pull neighbours from the wreckage. Nurses and doctors, working tirelessly, treated the injured despite shortages and personal danger. Communities banded together, sharing food, shelter, and support. These acts of heroism became the quiet light in a city overshadowed by tragedy. Historians often note that the explosion was entirely preventable. A combination of miscommunication, navigational errors, and insufficient regulations led to the collision. Yet the question lingers. Was it merely human negligence, or a cruel twist of fate that brought such destruction? As you imagine the events of that fateful morning, think about this. If you were in Halifax that day, what would you have done? How would you have reacted to a city consumed by chaos in mere moments? The human mind struggles to comprehend the scale of such disasters, yet they leave us lessons that echo through time. Today, the Halifax explosion is remembered through monuments, museums, and archives that preserve the memory of those lost and the bravery of those who survived. The city rebuilt itself, but the shadow of that December morning remains. Every December 6th, Halifax honours its victims, ensuring that history does not forget the fragility of human life and the consequences of even minor mistakes. As we reflect on this tragedy, we are reminded that history is not only about dates and facts, but about the lives, emotions, and experiences of people caught in extraordinary circumstances. The Halifax explosion teaches us humility, compassion, and the need to respect the immense power of human industry and nature alike. And as you listen, I wonder what other forgotten disasters might be hidden in the pages of history. What stories of courage and tragedy are waiting to be uncovered? Share your thoughts in the comments. I read them all. If you thought the Halifax explosion was astonishing, wait until next time. We will travel to another mysterious tragedy buried in time, where the world changed overnight, leaving stories that are still whispered today.